So we are seeing a lot of movement of Russian troops. Some that had taken over the Chernobyl power plant in the early days of the Russian invasion, right there, have now withdrawn. This is according to Ukraine's organization that oversees the country's nuclear sites. The Pentagon estimates that 20% of Russian troops that were near Kharkiv, right there, near Kyiv, I should say, have repositioned and headed towards Belarus. And the Ukrainian military has observed a shift in the Russian strategy with a new focus on the Donbass region, right there.
There we go.
Thank you.
So let's discuss now with retired U.S. Army Colonel Liam Collins. He served as an executive officer for the U.S. Senior Defense Advisor to Ukraine from 2016 to 2018. As a member of the Council on Foreign Relations. Colonel, what are the options here for Russia from these positions?
Yeah, I mean, I think what Russia and Putin's trying to explain the removal of forces from Kyiv as a concession, right? Satisfying a concession, when in reality, it's just a sign the war isn't going well. The troops here have been decimated, so he has to pull them back, not just off the front line, but all the way to Belarus or Russia to try to refit and regroup and get them into the fight. So that's more plausible explanation than to say that they're moving to the east. They may indeed move to the east eventually into the Donbass, but most of what Putin says is just not credible.
Let's zoom in on the Donbass region right now since you brought that up. So here it is, large scale, and we're hearing a lot of shelling in the Kharkiv area. What do you see here?
Yeah, I mean, Kharkiv, Putin has no ability to send forces in and take Kyiv and Kharkiv, so he's just going to sit off and launch rockets or missiles, artillery shells in there because he has no combat power to really move forward into the city. So this is about all he can do at this point is just try to put as much pain and suffering on the Ukrainian people as possible.
Let's go now to Mariupol, where the Ukrainian president told CBS that that city here is gone. We also know that a convoy of buses, according to a Ukrainian military official, is on its way to the city to help with civilian evacuations after being held up at a Russian checkpoint. Talk about just the strategic value of this city for Russia.
Right, so Russia, they look at wanting to make this land bridge that connects the Donbass, Russia, all the way down to Crimea. And so that's something that's been talked about for years. So yes, trying to create that land bridge all the way there. And so it's of value for Russia for that. If Russia actually believes that they can hold on to a portion of Ukraine after this war is over. Now, I don't think that's possible because the Ukrainian will to fight is so great that sure, Russia will make some gains, but they won't be able to hold them because it'll be guerrilla warfare.
Let's talk about what's happening on the Ukrainian soldier side. So if we look at the Kyiv-controlled areas, it seems as though the Ukrainians have been able to take back some ground here, or at least make some progress.
Yeah, and that's not a surprise. I mean, right, that in all facets of this, right, warfighting is a function of many things: strategy, operational employment, doctrine, training, leadership, resolve, and the weapon systems. And the only category Russia has the edge in, and it's an overwhelming edge, is combat systems. And everything else, Ukraine has the edge. So in the tactical fight, when Ukraine's going to pick the time and place to conduct those counterattacks, they're going to be successful because at the tactical level, they're going to overwhelm and defeat the Russians every time.
More on the weapons now. We've got the list, partial list here of the requests from Ukrainian military to the U.S. government, including combat aircraft. We've got reconnaissance and attack drones, electronic warfare, anti-drone systems. The list here on the screen. What weapons stand out to you that would help the Ukrainians the most here?
They need the Javelin weapon systems. If they're getting depleted, they absolutely need those. They do need electronic warfare, anti-drone systems to protect their capabilities, but they also need reconnaissance and attack drones to attack Russian targets on the ground to try to take them out, as opposed to sending their ground forces in, and continue to surface-to-air missile system to take out Russian air systems. So it's not a matter of one or the other. I mean, every one of those is important to what they need to continue to be successful in this fight. As I said, they have an edge in every area except for total combat power in terms of weapon systems, ammunition. So that's what they need to be resupplied in, all those assets, because they're being exhausted.
All right. Retired Army Colonel Liam Collins. Thank you, sir.